like that I've been watching for the month of May. Okay, I think I liked everything that I watched. Yes, except for one. That one's gonna be last, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it once we get there. Everything else is like real good. So the first show that I'm gonna talk about, I've been dying all month to talk about this show with you because it's like, oh my gosh, and I'm sure you've at least heard of it. You had to have heard of it by now, okay? But it's a show on Netflix, and it is called Baby Reindeer. If you've seen it, you know. Okay, so this, again, it's a show on Netflix. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 98%. Audience score gave it an 83%. Now these scores are as of this recording, so they could have gone up, they could have gone down. I don't know. It stars Richard Gadd and Jessica Gunning. I think that's how you say your name. I feel like I need a cough. It's gonna be one of those videos. Okay, so what is this show about? First, it's like a 6-part little, I guess it's a limited series, something like that. And each episode is like 23 to 30 minutes long. You will be able to binge it so fast, okay? And I watched it on one of the days where I wasn't recording. I didn't have the kids, none of that. So I binged it all in one day. Because that's like 3 hours, right? So, or a little less than 3, I don't know, math, whatever. I binged it so fast because it's so quick to watch, and then by the time you get to the end of one episode, you're like, you have to go to the next one. Okay, so this is a true story about a man. He's a bartender, I think in like the UK or something. I don't really know where it is. It's somewhere over there. And this woman, her name is Martha, comes into his bar, and she just looks so distraught and like she's had a bad day, and she didn't have any money for like a cup of tea or a drink or something, and he felt bad for her, so he offered her a free drink, okay? And they start talking, and she just lights up, when she starts talking to him, and then she starts coming in like every day. And he's like, this is weird, but he always gives her a drink, and stuff. And then she starts showing up in other places. Somehow she gets his email or cell phone or something. I don't know. This woman very quickly begins stalking this bartender. I don't know the bartender's name, but it doesn't matter. She starts stalking this bartender, and at first he's just like, okay, this is a little creepy, and then he's like, oh my god, this woman has something, she's got some screws loose, and it starts getting darker and darker, and it starts interfering with other parts of his life and stuff. It is about a stalker, but it's really about this bartender's like mental state, because at one point he kind of like, I don't want to say eggs her on, but he kind of, I guess maybe is a little flattered by the stalking, okay? So he kind of is flattered, I guess, by the stalking, and he starts to like it a little bit, and then he's like, well, wait, that's crazy, I don't like this, she's crazy, just what is going on? But it shows different parts of his life as stalking, but there's another part that was so like shocking to me. I think it's like around episode 3. It got really real, really fast, and has nothing to do with the stalking. It has to do with something that happens in this guy's life. There is, trigger warning, there's a sexual assault, and it was so like real. I felt like I should not be watching this, you know, like it was like, whoa. Anyway, okay, so you get past that, he gets past it, and it's just the whole the whole story about the stalking thing. You know, there's just other things that happen in his life that are just like, whoa. But so I finished the show, and I was just like, what did I just watch? Okay, like, what was this? This is crazy, and the fact that it was a true story. I'm sorry, I need to get a haircut. I need to get a haircut. My hair, like, just keeps poking at my ears and stuff, but it's real itchy. I'll schedule it, I promise. So the fact that it's a true story, and this woman, like, she ends up sending him, like, I don't know, 30 to 40,000 emails and like voicemails and text messages, and like he has record of all of this, you know. Anyway, it's really, really interesting because it shows stalkers from another point of view, because usually when you see that kind of thing, like on ID or whatever, it's usually the man is like creeping on the girl, right? Well, this kind of like flips it. It's like women can be crazy too, right? But when I finished it, I was like, is this, because it shows you in the beginning of the very first episode, this is based on a true story, and then you forget about it, and then you realize, like, this is based on a true story. Like, this is crazy town, okay? And then, like, 2 days later, which I'm sure you're aware now, because it's so all over the news and the media, but 2 days after I watched the show, I found out that the main character, the bartender, the actor Richard Gadd, wrote this. I don't know if he directed it, he starred in it. This is based on his real life experiences, and it made it so much more intense because I didn't know that as I was watching it, but thinking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, to be able to relive the experience and specific experiences in front of the world and like acknowledge stuff, like, good job, guy. Like, the fact that you were able to do that, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But just, and then the actress Jessica Gunning, she is amazing, and like, she is so spot on, okay? And the reason that I'm like, she's so spot on is because I don't know if this happened like a week ago or a week and a half ago, something like that, but the internet sleuths, the internet detectives, found out who the real Martha is, okay? And people are not being nice to her, okay? But for some reason, I don't know why, but Piers Morgan had the real life Martha. I don't know her name. The real life Martha on his show. You can watch it on YouTube. And there was I don't think there was any commercials in it at all, but it's Piers Morgan Uncensored or something like that. I was eating that interview up. Like, I couldn't believe that the real life Martha was being interviewed, and I was like, I cannot deal with this. And I watched it, and it's like, why do they have her on the show? I don't know. But if you watch Baby So I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, the next thing that I watched was a mini series on Hulu, and it is a show called We Were the Lucky Ones. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 92%. Audience score gave it an 86%. It stars Joey King, Logan Lerman, Henry Lloyd Hughes, like tons of people. So many people that I'd be sitting here for 30 minutes just listing off names, okay? Now, as soon as I heard that title, I was like, I have heard that before. It's based off of a book. And I almost bought the book. And then I saw that a show was coming out, so I was like, I'll just watch the show. So, okay, this is about, it's a true story, which is unbelievable, like, whoa, crazy, okay, and it's called We Were the Lucky Ones, so, okay, but it is about, a Jewish family that is separated at the start of World War II, so, Hitler, Nazis, terribleness, okay, it's another one of those things, but like, it doesn't matter how many of these shows or documentaries or anything that I watch, it's like, yes, a lot of the stories are similar, but they're not, and like the fact that this happened, it's like, keep pushing them out, because still, to this day, so many people think that the Holocaust and Nazis, that kind of thing, are just like a myth or a rumor or something like that, and it's like, I cannot believe that, okay? But anyway, so it just follows this family, and they do get separated, you know, like it's quite a large family. I don't know if there's like 4 siblings, maybe it's parents, 4 siblings, and then there's a child, and I don't know, it's really, really good. It's hard. It's hard, even for like one of the children. He doesn't have to deal with a lot of the Holocaust and stuff like that, but he deals with it in a different way because he is technically safe, okay? Because he is like in Rio de Janeiro. I don't know what you call it, but he's somewhere over there. But he's still like, I don't want to say being held like hostage or whatever, but he's being detained, you know. But whatever. Anyway, but he doesn't have to go through the Holocaust the way a lot of his family members have to go through the Holocaust. But it's still very hard for him because he has to read the news and hear stories and stuff and know what his family is going through, and that is a different kind of torture. Like, oh, it shows, you know, what happens to the parents and blah 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 blah. But like, it's just, it's so good, and obviously we were the lucky ones. It's no surprise that they survive, but it's how the hell did they survive? I guess by being lucky, like, just, I don't know, but it's a beautiful story, it really is, but it's one of those shows, it's like one of those things where it's hard to watch, but you want to watch it because it's so great, you know, so, yes, I would watch that. Okay, the next thing that I watched is a movie, and I watched it on Max. I don't like that they call it Max. I hate that. It's like it's just HBO. I mean, but they changed it to HBO Max, and now it's just Max. So whatever. But it is a movie called The Iron Claw. Rotten Tomato score gave it 89%. Audience score gave it a 94%. Dickinson, he looked like a normal person. Okay, he's got a little muscle tone, but it's like normal. But as soon as the very first shot I saw Zac Efron, and I'm just like, what? What is going on? And I paused the thing, and I was like, did he like make himself bigger to be this like wrestler guy? So I went and looked up the wrestler guy. The wrestler guy is not that big. Like, they look like normal people, like before muscles became a thing in like the early 80s. It was like toned, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White. Like, I'm just not about that. No. I know a lot of women are. So I was like, ew, is this like a thirst trap kind of movie? That's why I wanted to hate it, because of the whole thing. No, it's not. The acting is fantastic. Fantastic. So it follows this family, the Von Erich family, okay? And I think it starts out like in the late 60s or something, maybe early 70s, with their dad. And their dad was a wrestler, and he had this thing called the Iron Claw, where he would stick his hand on someone's head and like squeeze it, and it would be like so epic, you know, wrestling. But one day, like, he took it too far, and he just started like UFC fighting, okay, and wrestling, and I think they were like, yo, you're done, because no. So he wanted to be like the world heavyweight champion, whatever, but because he went nuts, they were like, nah, we're done. So he turned all of his children. He actually had 5 sons, but one of them died when he was a little boy. So he had 4 sons, and he was like, they are going to be somebody, since, you know, he never admitted that like he couldn't do it. It was his own fault. It was his own failure, but so he raised his boys to be, you know, one of them will become the heavyweight champion of the world or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, but their dad is such a jerk. Like, in one of the very first scenes, he's giving a pep talk, or you think it's a pep talk, to one of the sons, and he's like, look, we all know that, I don't know the names, but this son is my favorite, but, you know, and he lists the order of the sons, who's his favorite, who's his second favorite, third favorite, fourth favorite, and he's like, but you can change that. The rankings can change at any moment. You just have to push yourself harder to be able to move up in the ranks. And I'm like, what? Who says that? Who, like, I'm sure the stuff that their family went through. It was just like controlling father and, you know, wins and losses and the tragedy that this family went through. Sorry if you can hear my stomach growl. I'm hungry. The tragedy that this family went through was just, I don't know how Zac Efron's character in real life, how he was able to make it through a lot of these things, okay? Just awful. Awful, heartbreaking movie, but also, like, at the end of the movie, I was in literal tears, but it was like good tears because I mean, they were sad tears, but they were also good tears because I really felt for Zac Efron's character, you know, and I was just like, oh my god. It was really good, and I highly recommend watching it at least once. It was hard for me to get past the gross muscles, but it's worth it, okay? Alright, the next thing that I watched was on Max as well. And I think it was like April, in the middle of April, I just randomly saw a trailer and I was like, oh my god, and I, like, just counting down the days, when can I start watching this show? Okay, it's a documentary, and it is called The Jinx, Life and Deaths of Robert Durst, Part 2. Part 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, first of all, if you have not seen The Jinx, go watch The Jinx. It is amazing. It's jaw-dropping amazingness, okay? So good. It's about Robert Durst and all the people who have died around him, okay? And if you've been on my channel, you've seen some of my true crime. I did a true crime thing on Robert Durst. I don't want to say that I'm obsessed with Robert Durst. I'm obsessed with his story and the people around him, and just like, because it's like, who the hell is this guy? How is he just walking around just doing whatever the hell he wants, right? Well, he obviously got caught. We all know how Robert Durst's story ends, okay? I watched the entire trial. He's passed on now, you know? And you would think that you would know the story. Like, it's over. He's dead. His court case is over. We got everything from the court case. Like, how could there be another show? Part 2 of The Jinx? Like, what? If you know Robert Durst, his story will never end. It will never end, okay? It'll never end. But The Jinx 2 picks up on the day of the day that the last episode aired, okay? The same guy, Jarecki, I can't remember his name. Is it like Andrew Jarecki, something like that? This man, his whole life basically has been dedicated to Robert Durst because he wrote and directed All Good Things that had Kristen Dunst in it and Ryan Gosling. Yeah. And it was about Robert Durst and the disappearance of his first wife. And I guess the Morris Black thing, and I don't know if it had to do with the other thing. I don't know. Anyway, so he made that movie, and then he made The Jinx, and now he's made The Jinx 2, and I'm telling you, he spent like 25, 30 years on this guy. Like, this man has made his career. So, it picks up from the very end, because he had like this viewing party for all of the So yeah, Robert Durst was actually arrested like a few days ago or something. So the story was not over. Robert Durst, it's like, how does his brain work? I don't know. But when, I don't know, like the fourth episode or something aired, he was like, okay, this is looking bad for me, so I'm going to run, which he has done before, so this is not new. But like, so he goes on the run, and like you get the story from the detectives and like the FBI and people who went after him, and this man, like, he took a bunch of money out over several days, like 9,000, 9,000, 9,000, 9,000, so that it wouldn't be triggered by like the FBI or the IRS or whoever pays attention to money transactions. And he was going on the run. He was going to take a boat from Florida to Cuba and just live his life there, I guess. And when he was caught, he had like, I think, $80,000 and a map of Cuba, drugs, and a very expensive, realistic mask. What? What? But like, when he was caught, and this is literally like in the first episode or something, when he was caught, he was just walking through a hotel lobby. It's like, dude, you are Robert Durst. Everybody knows who you are because the Jinx is airing on HBO all the time. If you have this super expensive mask that looks very realistic, put the thing on, idiot. He's just like, he's such an idiot, and I'm like, how has he gone this long without going to prison? Anyway, so it shows you things like that happen behind the scenes, and like you get to see actual video because they recorded every conversation that he had with anybody that called or he called or that came to the prison. And it's just like, it's so good. It's so good. And I'm like, maybe it's so good because I'm just obsessed with his case and his life. Like, it's just, what? But his story is not over. And it's like, I think there's like maybe 6 or 7 episodes, and it's like, I know everything. I've seen the whole court thing, I'm like, I've researched this man like insanely, and it's like, there, in every episode, it's just like, what, like all these things that is just, my jaw was just dropped the whole time, every single episode, and it's just like, ugh, crazy, super good. Okay, oh, I forgot to tell you, the Rotten Tomato score on that was 88 audience score. There's nothing at the time of this recording, no score. What? I give it a 100. There you go. Okay, the next thing that I watched was a show on Apple TV. I don't think it's a limited series because the way that it ended, it's like there's gonna be a second season. I guess if enough people watch it, I don't know. But it is called Palm Royale. this show, drop dead gorgeous. She was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what is this show about? I watched it because Kristen Wiig was in it, right? And I was like, oh, it's gonna be funny, and it is funny. It is, but it's also like, just what? Okay, so I think it's set in 1969. It's either the late 60s or the very early 70s. But Kristen Wiig, I don't remember her name. She marries. I don't know what his name is either, but his last name is Delacourt. Okay, and she was like raised as an orphan. Okay, but he is like from old money. Okay, old school money. All right, that's not why she marries him. She finds this out after they get married and stuff. Like it's true love, But once she realizes that he's a Delacourt, oh my god. I don't know where Palm Royale is. Is it California? Is it Florida? I don't know. But it's somewhere beachy and sunny like that. But she's like, I need to get into high society. Like, oh my gosh. So she tries to get into, and I think the Palm Royale is like this beach club or something for the ultra rich elite, and by proxy, she is now that. Okay, so she tries to enter that world, and they're all like, rich, old, snobby jerks, and they're just like, no, and then looking down their nose at her like, oh my god, gross. But she wiggles her way in there, and even though, like, they have money and stuff, it's like they got money issues because they don't really have money. They have to wait until Carol Burnett is like the aunt of Josh Lucas. She has to die, and then they'll inherit all of her money and her house and blah blah blah. But she has some kind of like issue, and they have to take care of her. I don't know. But it kind of reminds me of Bridgerton. I only watched season 1 of Bridgerton, so that's what I'm basing it off of. But the reason why I say that is because, like, in Bridgerton, at least the first season, it's like high society, and they've got like, I don't remember what it's called, but like there was this newsletter or something that would used to go out and talk about all the happenings and secret things that are going on and blah blah blah. Well, there's something like that in this show. It's called The Shiny Sheet. It's basically like page 6, okay, but only about the rich Palm Royale society, okay. And Kristen Wiig used to read this Shiny Sheet when she was a kid, and she was just like, oh my god. And so now she has a chance to possibly make it into the Shiny Sheet, and she's just like, oh my god, it's good in the beginning, and in the middle I was just like, ugh, because I got bored. Because I was just like, why does she care about these stupid rich bitches? Okay, because that's what they are. They're so mean, and everything is just so superficial, and like, who cares? But she eventually, I pushed, through because I wanted to see the ending. She makes her way into this high society, but she learns the hard way that these people aren't that great, and she doesn't realize it until the very last episode, and then it's too late. She's already in this world, and I don't know, a lot of things happen, and the ending was like, oh my god, like, I can't believe, like, something's happened, and it's just like, I don't want to say I'm excited for season 2. so this is a show that is on Prime, Amazon Prime. It is called Fallout. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 93%. Audience score gave it an 89. I'm gonna say like 70-ish, maybe a little less. It stars Ella Burnell, Walton Goggins. I don't know if that's how you say his name. It has a bazillion people in the show. Okay. I was excited for it because of Walton Goggins. Is that how you say his name? I love this guy. I never knew what his name was, but I loved him ever since. And I can't think of the name of the show. Gosh, that's gonna drive me crazy. But he was in Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy. I freaking loved him in Sons of Anarchy, and he was in another one too. It was like a cop show, The Shield or something. I loved him in that. He's such a fantastic actor. He's so amazing and funny and scary and dramatic and like heartfelt. Like I absolutely love him. So I saw him in the trailer and I was like, oh my god. But we watched it. Both me and my husband watched it at the same time, so it took forever. This came out I think like in March or something. It just took forever to watch it because my husband just drags his feet sometimes. But I'm like, what are you doing? Because this show, Fallout, is based off of Fallout, the video game, okay? This is one of my husband's favorite video games, and there are multiple versions. Not versions, but like there's Fallout. What is it? Like Las Vegas Fallout? I don't know. There's a bunch of Fallouts, okay? So this show is based off of the video game, and my husband said that it did follow the video game. There's lots of extra things going on, but he was fanboying out. I was like, can you shut up? I was just like, stop it, because he kept saying, oh my god, this, and I was like, I can't pay attention to the show. Shut up. So once I got him to shut up, I was able to pay attention. But okay, so this is a show about, in the time frame, it's like its own world, its own universe, because it's like, I want to say it's like now times. No, it's like future times, but it's also like, it's got like a 1950s vibe. It's very like, what? It's weird, but if you've seen the game, you get it. It's just, that's their world, okay? But in this world, there is threat of like, people nuking each other, okay? And so everybody builds like these fallout shelters and stuff like that. And but I don't know if it's like this government agency or like whoever's in charge. Oh, sorry. I'm trying not to yawn. Whoever's in charge of the fallout shelter like thing, they have created like these main shelters for an elite group of people, okay, who will rebuild population and stuff if, what do they call it, like apocalypse, happens. So they all know this just her journey to find her dad, and then what happens after she finds her dad, and it also goes like stuff that's going on now, and then stuff that went on 200 years ago, that kind of thing. Um, Thinking back on it, it is good. It is good, but maybe I got annoyed because my husband, like, when I want to watch a show, I want to be like, binge, binge, binge. I'm like, okay, we can watch, an episode or two tonight, tomorrow night. But, like, sometimes he works really late, and it's just like, oh, we can't watch anything tonight, and I'm not going to watch the show without him, So, it was drug out for me, and I don't like that because I will forget, but also because my husband kept talking throughout the whole freaking show, and that was annoying. But thinking back, it was a good show. It was a good show, and they do leave you hanging. So it's like, you have to watch season 2. You have to. But it's like, when is it gonna come out? 2 years from now. So I'll probably have to rewatch it maybe when I rewatch it, I'll be like, oh yeah, because when I rewatch it, I'm rewatching it without my husband, so he doesn't ruin it for me. But I mean, I think it's just because, like, a lot of the stuff in it was unnecessary because there's lots of action and a lot of gross things that happen, but it was unnecessary. It drug it out, and I don't know why they did that, but anyway, it was good. And if you like the game, you're gonna love the show. You're going to love the show. But if you're not into futuristic, I don't even know, I don't want to say zombies. It's not zombies. I can't remember the name of them, but if you're not into that kind of thing, don't watch it, because you're just gonna be like, this is stupid. I think it's just for the fans,